Welcome to the episode today. We're going to be talking about how to increase and maximize power in senior golfers, doing it a little bit differently with a little different approach. My name's Chris.
I'm Bobby.
And I'm Alex.
And we are celebrating a Giants win.
So when are we ever going to post this episode?
Touche, good point. Well, I'm just letting people know that I'm a New York Giants fan, and if anybody else out there is a New York Giants fan, if you're a Giants fan, we're in this together.
And please don't leave if you're not.
Yeah. But anyway, so for today, what we're going to be talking about is senior golfers. I think the big question we get a lot is, I'm too old to get better. Like, I'm just this like weird acceptance of mediocrity and just I'm losing distance. That's what happens when you get older. I'm okay with it. What say thee?
It's farthest from the truth, and honestly, it's probably just a big excuse for a lot of people that don't want to put in work that they know they have to put in. But then for others, it's also they believe that they've hit a cap in their performance goals or their physicalities, and that they actually think they can't get better.
Well, I think too, a lot of people, especially that come and see us, have tried a bunch of different things before, and they go, this is what I'm seeing on TV, or this is what I'm seeing in the magazines or newspapers, right? Probably not Instagram for a lot of these folks. Maybe you are getting your info, right? But there's a lot of bad information there too. But they've tried a bunch of different things and they're not seeing the results that they might have expected, and they don't really know where else to go. And so they go, well, I've tried everything already. This just must be the case of what's going to happen.
And I think to that point, a lot of the people, probably a lot of seniors out there, if you're watching this, you're senior, you may not even know that that's not normal. So lose distance. Most of your friends are probably losing distance, and so you just think that's the norm. And you've always been the middle of the road, middle of the group hitter, and you're still the middle of the group hitter, even though the group as a whole hits it 50 yards shorter. And so you just kind of are okay with that status quo. And I think the resounding answer that we found through all the research, thousands of data points at this point, is that that's not the case. And that the average club head speed for a 50 to someone in their 50s or their 60s, high 90s, 100 miles an hour.
Right.
So don't be okay. Don't settle for that, I think, is the first thing. I think after we get over that hurdle, then what if we have somebody who comes in, senior golfer, I want to swing the club faster, which in our language, if you're a strength coach or physio working with golfers, what they're saying is, I want to improve how much power I can output. How do we do that? What's kind of the approach that we take here, Park Success, and that we're seeing in the research?
We are big here on assessing, so we test every single person that comes through the door, and that really should be the first step in determining what that person needs. Everyone's going to need something different, whether it is the mobility part, the strength part, the technical part. So we need to first find out what that is that person needs, so they're not trying 5 different things like you mentioned and not seeing anything.
One of the biggest things that I see frequently is people coming in and saying, I've been stretching, I do all these stretches, I do 45 minutes of stretching every single morning, and my back still hurts when I play, or I'm still losing distance even though I've been doing all this work that's been suggested to me. And the biggest thing I see is, well, what have you done to work on your rotation? Right, so something we talked about in the intro episode with the 4 main rotary centers that we always assess.
Episode 1, go back and watch it.
Making sure that you're adding in some of this rotational work, since golf is a rotational sport, right? And 9 times out of 10, these are moves that are fairly simple, but people just haven't seen before for whatever reason. That's not the typical back pain fixes you'll see, or that's not the typical.
Stretch your hamstring,
right? If I had $1 for every time.
Your hamstrings are tight.
No, probably not. No. So that's one of the biggest things that we're always looking at is, what can you add in from a rotational mobility perspective, because you're trying to do a rotational sport.
If you do think your hamstrings are tight, check out our Park Success YouTube channel. The hip hinge drill, touch your toes in 5 minutes. It's most likely a movement issue, not a extensibility or length of your hamstring issue.
Exactly.
I digress. So we talk about the mobility piece. That's always the first thing as a senior golfer that you should look at yourself, or if you're coaching a senior golfer, the neck, the shoulders, the T-spine, and the hips. Those are we're all talking rotation on all of those. Now, what is good? And we talked about early in episode 1, right? What's a pass we consider good for our tour player is going to be very different than what we consider good and serviceable for our 65-year-old who's had 2 knee replacements, has a bad back, history of back pain.
Right.
What's our difference? What are our metrics that we look for in seniors?
I think the biggest thing first is if you have a big side-to-side difference, right? So if you're a right-handed golfer and your left hip is way tighter than your right hip, there's probably something going on there that we can address and get better, right? We're not looking for 80 degrees of hip rotation like some of our juniors have, right? But we're looking for pretty much as we can safely get, and that's where a physical assessment is going to tell you, hey, how much can you safely get back with a decent amount of work to put into it. Right?
And I think if you're not sure what that assessment looked like, we do have that as a free resource on our parksuccess.com website. Go ahead in there and download it, take it. It's free. We'll even chat with you for free to tell you what it all means. But it's all written in there in terms of explaining it to you. So if none of that didn't make sense to you as we talk through it, if you're a coach, feel free to take it, use it with your clients. Our hope is it becomes a resource for as many golfers as possible. So after we do the mobility, let's say we kind of understand where they're at there. Let's say the senior golfer's got great mobility.
Yeah.
Now where do we go next?
So now we know they have great mobility, so we know that's not a limiting factor in their golf swing. Next thing we test here is going to be their power. So using certain tools to see how much rotationally, vertically, and horizontally they can produce, seeing if it's more of a power production issue.
So we use shot put. So with a 6-pound medicine ball, how far you can throw it right and left. We do seated chest pass, same thing. 6-pound medicine ball. And then we do a vertical leap.
Everybody's favorite.
Yes, everybody, especially at age 65 and up. So I think that gives you insight to yourself and to your athletes with what they can do, where they potentially outperform way more in one area than the other.
Right.
They throw the ball 25 feet and they jump 2.5 inches.
Yeah. 10 is being generous.
Yeah. That person's not going to be creating a lot of vertical force, and if their mobility was good, we're talking weight room, getting stronger in their lower body, helping them to really kind of gain back some of that lower body strength that they've probably lost.
And we see a lot of people too that have done good strength training moves. They just don't use the right rep ranges, or they don't use the right tempo, or things like that. So, Alex, what do you usually see with folks when they're coming in? You're first working with them, trying to change their mindset into building strength.
Right. I think it's a very lightweight, high rep industry. That's what everyone's focused on, is building endurance and doing as many reps as you can with a lightweight, maybe feeling the burn.
Mobility. Lots of stretching.
Yes,
if
stretching.
You can on the floor, stretch more.
Stretch and then do 3 sets of 15 squats.
Let's get slow and flexible.
Yeah. So biggest misconception there. We want to actually increase the load, increase the intensity of the load a little bit, and decrease those rep ranges. More of a strength target and being able to produce as much force in that 1 rep than if we worked with 1 rep rather than 15, we'd probably see results with that person as far as their ability to produce force and maybe even a better vertical jump right off the bat from that.
Well, we saw with our research that we did over the course of the year, we compared the traditional training, high rep, kind of low weight, and then just progressively get a little heavier and get less reps over a course of a year. And we compare that to, you talked about tempo, to the triphasic type of training where we focus on the eccentric 5 to 7 second lowering for 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah,
and then
everybody's favorite.
Then we transition into the isometric element of that, where we pause for 5 seconds at the bottom, 4 to 6 weeks, and then focusing on more of the explosional part. And what we saw with that was a huge difference. I think it was 60% difference in terms of club head speed gains for the adult senior population 50 plus. So if you use that low weight, high rep, you're going to gain 60% less club head speed than if we're doing triphasic. So I don't know why you're going to do the other one. Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, and I think that's what most people think. Like, I need to work hard. I need to work to fatigue to see some kind of gain in strength, and that's the mindset that we see. But it's not necessarily work till you're dead on the floor, CrossFit type workout, but more put everything you have into that one set at a higher intensity.
Totally. Yeah. So I think that's a big misconception our seniors see is that, I don't want to put barbells hurt you. I don't want to use a barbell. I think it's a matter of coaching, making sure we're screening as well as we can in terms of the quality of a squat pattern or a hinge pattern or a press pattern. And the fact is, the stronger you are, the thicker your armor is, you're less likely to get hurt. So if you have good mobility, you've got good strength. Those are, I think, two keys to producing power as a senior golfer. Just naturally, physiologically, you're gonna lose elasticity as you get older, and so but you can minimize that with training, with the right training, I should say.
Yeah, and I think along with that, like people think that they can't get stronger at a certain age. It just gets a little bit harder and takes a little more time, maybe, but it's not impossible by any means.
I don't think we've had anyone come in here and get weaker because they started lifting heavy weights.
No, not at all. Well, and I think one of the workarounds that seniors go to because they're afraid, potentially of lifting heavy weight is, I can just swing this club really, really fast. Because the overspeed training, right? I'm going to do that because that'll help me. But we don't screen to the head mobility, and then they all get hurt trying to do that. Or maybe in a lot of the cases they're a good player, so that's why they're motivated to swing faster. So their handicap may be single digit. Maybe they're swinging 90th percentile already, or maybe 75th percentile. But then you go look at their power numbers, they're all 25th percentile or less. If they go to the overspeed training, you're going to get hurt. Like, don't do that. Take the free assessment. It's free, guys. You can figure out where you are and what you should do. But I think that's where we then see people, and particularly in that senior population, they go, I'm going to swing these sticks. I'm going to get real fast. And unless you're unless you're able to produce more power than you are seeing in your golf swing, you're setting yourself up for trouble. And, I think when used at the right time with the right person, those can be very, very helpful tools. Tool, I guess, we found really but I think, so anyway, I think that's where a lot of this ends up is I'm too old to get better, so I'm tight, so I need to stretch a lot. Barbells are going to hurt me and weights are heavy, so I'm not going to lift. But I can swing this club and it looks like my golf swings and it'll make me fast. So you're weak, loose, maybe. You're more likely to get hurt that way. So your longevity, your ability to reduce injury or prevent it is about as good as my New York Giants' ability to win a game right now. So
not very good. I think the other thing too is, as you get older, wears and tears happen, surgeries happen. Some things are completely unavoidable, but that's not a reason that you can't improve in the gym, right? With good coaching, with good assessments, there's always a way to work around something so that it's comfortable, so that we can still get good strength numbers, right? And so that we can still progress in a way that's going to improve the golf game.
Right. On a day-to-day basis, we have to modify movements here in the gym for our older population, and they see the same exact gains in strength and their club head speed than someone who is a little stronger, a little younger, getting under the barbell.
Right. I would even say that guys that have had 2 knee replacements, or the guys who come in even weaker or have had more medical involvement, actually see bigger gains relatively, percentage-wise, because they're starting so far behind. So if you aren't happy with where you are, you're looking to improve power or your club head speed, don't take I think what's the industry approach or the popular way. And look at it through a different lens. Look at it through a scientific lens, through a data-backed lens, which is what we're talking about with you here today. Check out our website. Like I said, that's a free tool for you to use. Hopefully you use it and share it with all your friends, and you all use it to figure out where you're at. But I think there's hope.
Always.
And it is abnormal to be getting slower as you're getting older to the degree that we're seeing in golf right now. But any other final tips?
Assess, don't guess.
Hit bombs like Phil.
I'm going to give you the advice to like the video, please. But also subscribe to the channel if you find this content helpful, and share it with your friends, obviously, your colleagues, maybe your clients. We want to try to, hoping that you can help us get the right information out to people, protect them from some of the misinformation that's out there. It's confusing. It's a big cloud of confusion right now in this industry. So hopefully this is helping to shed a little bit of light on it. But and I also say, cross your fingers for my Giants. They figure out just so we can beat this Cowboys. So
It's okay.
thanks a lot, and we'll see you next episode.